Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryankaravavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet. Check Hriday. Sorry about the delay. Shall we continue from where we stopped yesterday? This was the 69th verse. Yanisha.
Yes, dear. Yeah.
Yanisha Sarvabhutanam Tasyam Jagriti Samyami Yasyam Jagriti Bhutani Sa Nisha Pashyato Munehi. That was the words. And we talked about this story, beautiful story about how the sun can never ever meet Miss Darkness. So the last paragraph, the sun then became angry. He really wanted to meet this woman, so he set out after her again. But when he went to the antipodes, Miss Darkness had already gone to the other side. And when he went to that side, she was again on the opposite side. In this way, the sun continued to move around, trying to find Miss Darkness, and is still doing so even today. When he comes to the east, Miss Darkness goes to the west. When he goes to the west, she comes to the east. They never meet each other, just as day and night never meet each other, because they are opposites. You cannot even compare the two. Thus, it can only be said that the sun is like the sun and darkness is like darkness. The vision of the wise and the otherwise. So too, a wise person is like a wise person, which means that no comparison is possible. Therefore, Arjuna did not become wiser by Krishna's statement. For the wise person, what is reality is limitless. Oneself being everything is reality. The reality is that Ishvara is myself. For other people, Ishvara is located somewhere, in heaven perhaps, and is only a matter of belief. He sends people down and then meddles in their affairs. Then they think. People have so many kinds of beliefs because for them, the statement, I am everything, is not a reality. Therefore, there are all kinds of conjectures, speculations, faiths, and beliefs. We find that for the ignorant, the ajnanis, everything is guesswork, whereas for the jnani, the wise person, there is no problem. The jnani sees no problem at all, whereas for the other person, everything is a problem. For the wise person, everything is a glory. The physical body, the mind, and the world are all glories, vibhutis, my glories, mama vibhutaya. I am the food eaten, aham annam. And again, I am also the eater of the food, aham annadaha. I am the thinker, and I am the object of thought. I am free from all these also. The ignorant are asleep to this vision of the reality, and the wise are asleep to what the ignorant are awake to. This is something like one person seeing a snake and another person seeing a rope in the same object. The person seeing the snake sweats and shivers in fear. Even the sound of the snake's rattle is heard by this person in spite of the fact that there is no snake. There is only a rope mistaken for a snake. Once a snake is seen, everything else comes along with it. The sound of the rattle, the sight of its head rising, and so on. For this person, the snake is a reality, whereas for the other person, all that is there is a piece of rope, and he or she does not see what the frightened person is fretting about. The one who sees the rope as rope will either treat the other person with compassion or simply walk away because he or she does not see a problem. Even if a person is told that there is a snake, he or she will only reply that there is no snake, there is only the rope. We can actually make a tabular column saying what is the vision of the wise and what is the vision of the unwise or the otherwise. For the wise, everything is purnaha, everything is limitless, everything is himself. He sees himself in everything, and there is only one. At the same time, he also says he's nothing. He is not any of this. Na mama. Both are there for the wise. He is in that state where in Nirvana Shatakam, the last, he exemplifies all that is there in the Atma Shatakam or Nirvana Shatakam. Mano Buddhya Hankara Chittani Naha. He's everything at the same time, he is not any of them. Whereas for the otherwise, because of this problem of misidentification, he is reeling in samsara. He is not in the Paramartha Tattva. So for him, everything is a problem. He identifies himself as the body, as the mind, intellect, ego. Just give me a second. I'm getting a call from the hospital. Maybe you can continue listing the differences between the wise and the otherwise in the meantime.
Yeah, Hari Om. Uh, those who are Muni, Jnani, they have that Nishayatmika Buddhi, that there is nothing else except that Paramatma Tattva, Paramartha Tattva, or Brahman. There is no duality. And in comparison to him, we still, our sun and darkness sometimes meet in between, I believe, although it is impossible, but although because it is still just the concept, just the vichara, we have not experienced that fully. That is why we are on that other side, the otherwise. So we do have the vichara, we do have that karma yoga, but that nishayatmika buddhi is also necessary, which the wise people they have with so much of affirmation that they have nothing else except Atma Tattvam. So that's why when they look at us, they have nothing but compassion. And they are able to tell that it is not snake, it is rope. Time and again, they keep on reminding us. But we still get scared. We still get anxious. We still get, as it is mentioned so well by Swamiji, we shiver with the so-called sound of the sun, of the snake hissing also. Yeah, Jai Gurudev.
Yeah, means beautiful. It's very beautiful example. Means there is a snake. There is not a snake, but only the thought snake comes and everything comes along it. Even if it is told it is not snake, the thoughts will come. So wise and unwise is like that. Means wise person doesn't have any problem. He will just walk away from that. But unwise means for the unwise, there is a disturbance in whole body, mind, and everything. So clarity, it's so easy for one who is wise to walk away, knowing this is the rope. But the unwise will think it is a snake, and everything will change.
And then the otherwise think that Ishvara is apart from, we think that Ishvara is apart from us. It's only a concept we have, it's a belief. Whereas for the wise, Ishvara aham brahmasmi, aham idam Ishvara.
He doesn't think
Yeah,
even apart, no, he is that, like
Yeah,
that.
not even apart. This part thing, it doesn't come. Ahameva Ishvara.
Hmm.
So
and that is why we can see even when they are performing the very minutest task, but still their enthusiasm and their dhriti is so beautiful, so high. Looking at them, we feel inspired. And in comparison to them, we as Ajnani, although we are in the midst of the happiness, bliss, but still the thought of past and future, it doesn't let us enjoy even that present moment because we have that duality and because we do not have that experience fully.
and actually, if you look at it, breaking it down between Dvaita Advaita, when you are in the moment, there is only one. Duality comes
Hmm.
when you start vacillating between the past and future. But when you're in the moment, there is only joy, right? There is only happiness, joy, enthusiasm,
True.
and you're
Hmm.
100%. So the more and more we live in the moment, the more we are with that oneness. And that is what
Hmm.
an enlightened person is. He's in the moment all the time. It is like that flowing river where there's never anything which is, it's ever new. Nothing is stagnant. At the same time, it is also very deep. So,
Is it due to their experience, Brahmaraji, that they become that sahaj? It comes so naturally to, I mean, when you meet such people also, you feel so much energetic just by being with them. I
correct.
mean,
It is
they
because
are. Hmm,
their
They are
whole
in the
being is exuding that, no?
hmm,
they are in the present moment anytime, and they see divine in everything, divine in you, divine in there, divine in the trees, divine in the stones, divine in everything. So he doesn't have the wise person doesn't differentiate at all. He is in the present moment and he is present in everything also. So he doesn't have the what you call the fear at all. When separation starts, fear starts. You know, he is one with everything. So he is always fearless. He is always present, and he is omnipotent, omnipresent, and omniscient. You know, he when he becomes realized, a realized person is like that. A wise person is like that. He doesn't see any difference. That verse is there, no? Gold, mud, and this one. So in, he feels same in everything. He sees divine in everything. That
But
makes him different.
what I think in present moment he is happy, ullasa and anandit. Means he's um, radiating only happiness and he is happiness. That's how he's in the present moment there is no sadness, no misery, nothing. So only happiness. No audio.
So we'll continue. And therefore, only the wise will, you need to be a wise person in order to understand what another wise person is. It's like the light and darkness never meeting each other.
Hari Om Brahmaraji, but
Yeah.
we understand, we know that, but still it is just understanding, just that vichara is not helping. I mean, it is, we have to have that conviction. I think the roadmap kindly guide us how, I mean, we still have that in between, that sun and darkness. They meet at times and they talk. There's inner dialogues.
Yeah, we are like that dream state, no? There is a little bit of
So
awake.
half
Yeah,
half awake. So
half
that is
awake.
more dangerous, isn't it?
And not dangerous, it's another state. That is it. We can't help it.
Mm.
It's inevitable. In this journey, that state is inevitable. So,
Mm.
till we are fully awake, the self knowledge, karma yoga, all this is required.
And the grace of
Of
this.
course. And
Mm.
ultimately, have infinite patience until the
Mm.
grace, and that achirena gachati. It doesn't take, it's like in a fraction, like just like how you bring light into a room that has darkness. How much time does it take for the light, for the room to get lit up? It's not sequential, it's not bit by bit. It is not 1 centimeter square after 1 centimeter square that the room becomes light. Instantaneously, it becomes lit up.
Mm.
Similarly, our sadhana is all about polishing ourselves, polishing and polishing, getting rid of raga dveshas by doing karma yoga, by doing what is to be done, and not doing what we think, staying in our comfort zones and saying, oh, I will do this, I don't like this, I will not do that.
Mm.
And ragadveshas, we think we are getting them under our control, but there are thousands of them. So only certain situations, circumstances, they might crop up. Suddenly you don't know where they are. So that rasa of ragadveshas also has to leave.
Mm.
So we constantly work at that with awareness. And for that, all our these practices will help. Yoga, Sudarshan Kriya, Sahaj, all of this will help in creating that awareness
Mm.
and continuing the exposure to this knowledge. So the mind achieves that, we achieve that antakarana shuddhi with all of this, and then antakarana naischalya. The lake may be very pure, the water is purified, but if it's constantly shaking, it's always shaking, there is no way you can see the pratibhimbam of the moon or the sun, whatever. The image is not clear. It's also shaky. Therefore, you need that nischala tattva, where the mind stills. In that stillness, then with the grace, the you, we will realize what this true self is. We have a true vision of ourselves.
Mm. Then that will become the experiential knowledge.
That becomes, yes,
Mm.
that is knowledge. I wouldn't even call it an experience, because there everything merges. The experience, the experienced, and the experiencer, all of them become one.
Mm.
There is no two there.
Beautiful.
You cannot say the experiencer is different from the experience. It, like the known knowledge and the knower. Just like how the waker, once the person wakes up from the dream, the dream, the dream world, everything merges into the waker.
Mm. Yeah, धन्यवाद Kamalaji.
So for us, Ajnanis, everything is guesswork. Whereas for the Jnani, the wise person, there is no problem. The Jnani sees no problem at all, whereas for the other person, everything is a problem. For the wise, everything is a glory, everything is vibhuti. It's all His grace, His glory that is there. If there is pain, if there is disease, there is sadness, there is joy, there is anything is vibhuti. But for us, because we have raga towards joy, anything pleasurable, and dvesha towards anything which is not pleasurable. We make this distinction. Opposites, for us, opposites are very distinct. So we take sides. We want only the positive all the time. Whereas for the wise person, he sees everything as vibhuti. That Brahmarpanam Brahma Havihi, Brahmagnav Brahmanahutam. For him, he is the oblation, he is the one who is taking the oblation, he is the ladle, he is everything. He sees himself in everything. So he is awake to this, whereas the ignorant are asleep to this vision of reality, and the wise are asleep to what the ignorant are awake to. So, Sarlaji, this is what you wanted to know. What is the wise? What is
Yes.
Nisha for the wise, right? So, they are asleep to this, the samsaric vision that the unwise or the otherwise have. They are asleep to samsara, they are awake to Atma Tattva. Whereas we are asleep to, Ajnanis are asleep to the Atma Tattva, we are awake to the samsara. And like that Rajju Sarpa Bhranti, they only see the rope. And so therefore they are fearless. They don't see a problem at all, but we look at it as only the snake. And we imagine, we project that rope is not moving at all. There's no sound coming from that rope. But we imagine, we project the way we perceive the world is a threat all the time for us. We look at it as something fearful.
Brahmaraji, whenever we feel like that, hum Brahmasmi or something, the solutions come to the problem. Even if we are in Jagat right now,
Mhm.
means it becomes very easy.
Yeah, because when you're coming from that space, you see everything as big. You are as yourself bigger than everything. So that problem also becomes very small. And then, like you said, yes, when you're in that space, you get the right thought. To know a wise person, you need to be wise. This is strictly a matter of two different visions. How then is Arjuna going to understand a wise person? Krishna was saying here that he could only do so by being wise. There is no other way. Being ignorant, you want to understand a wise person. In fact, there is really no such thing as a wise person. Wisdom is you. You are the wisdom. The wise person is one who knows himself or herself. And if you know yourself, you are a wise person. And until you know yourself, how are you going to understand a wise person? To be a wise person, you have to be wise. There is no other way than of knowing the wise person. So Arjuna's original question was Sthita Prajnasya ka bhasha. He wanted to understand what is the wise person? How does a wise person? So there is absolutely no way Arjuna can know what is Sthita Prajna is unless he himself is a Sthita Prajna. That is why Krishna wanted to conclude that question. Although he described what goes into making a Sthita Prajna, he described what is Sthita Prajna Lakshanas are, but for Arjuna to actually know who a wise person is, he needs to be wise. In response to Arjuna's request for a description of a wise person, Lord Krishna told him, the verse under study, that it takes wisdom alone to be a wise person. The wise person is a wise person. He or she is awake to a reality to which everyone else is sleeping. This answer could only have created despair in Arjuna because he wanted to know the characteristics of a wise person so that by emulating them, he himself would become wise.
Gurudev gives example na sometime. You to know the taste of gulab jamun, you have to
Eat
taste
it.
it before. Yeah. It's for Sthita Prajna. To know the Sthita Prajna, you should be Sthita Prajna then.
Right,
Wise only knows the wise.
right. Because then you are the wisdom. It is wisdom is you. Being ignorant, you want to understand a wise person. It is like that darkness wanting to meet light. Miss Darkness wanting to meet the sun. As long as you are reeling in darkness, there is no way you can meet the light. And once you are light, there is no way you are ignorant. So you are that wise, you are that wisdom.
What was the sentence? Darkness meets the light or not? That
Yeah, that
one
story
sentence.
we read, no, earlier.
That sentence, what was? What was that sentence?
They never meet each other.
They
Light,
never meet each other.
sun
I
can
means
never
they
meet
become
darkness.
one. If there is means light comes, then only the light will be there. But if don't rays don't come, then there will be darkness only.
Correct. See, isn't that what our experience is also? Small things like maybe that knowledge is not established. That jnana nishta is still not there. That is why we keep vacillating between having periods of full awareness and versus going back into ignorance and going into the samsaric jagat. Supposing you have accepted that person completely. In that acceptance itself, there is joy. You feel so free in that acceptance. Whereas taking that state where you were not accepting that person. I'm giving an example of a situation where you you've accepted a person whereas versus not accepting a person. When you've not accepted, you are reeling in your mind is disturbed totally. There is no peace. Whereas the moment you accept, suddenly there is that peace and that joy and that uplifted feeling. So this we are experiencing momentarily, moment to moment, as and when we apply this knowledge. But for us sadhaks, this happens when we are aware and we are able to apply the knowledge. In all other times, when we are still under the influence of ajnana, when we are unaware, we tend to slip. So to make our ground steady, to be jnana nishta, is to be is the sthita prajna. The sthita prajna is his prajna is solid, it's steady. It doesn't waver. So shanaihi, little by little, we will have to work towards getting that jnana nishta. So the sleep of ignorance that prevents one from knowing a wise person was explained further by Shankara in his commentary on this verse. For the wise person, there is no activity because he or she no longer takes himself or herself to be a doer. This applies not only to the performance of Vedic rituals and prayers, Vaidika Vyavahara, but to worldly activities, Laukika Vyavahara as well, such as eating, cooking, dishwashing, bathing, laundering, vacuuming, and conducting business. The notions, I am doing this, I am the doer, are no longer there. So when Gurudev is doing all of this, he's in that total space of non-doership. He's doing all the Vedic rituals and prayers only for our sake, only to set up as an example, as a role model. Because what the wise person does, the others follow. So in order to, because we're all in different boats, we're all sailing in different levels of understanding. So for people who are not into prayers at all, in order to guide them, he is doing what he's doing. Because earlier I was thinking, and I had this doubt. I had said, well, why is he doing all of this? But now this clarifies it, because he's coming from the space of non-doership. Whatever he's doing, whether he's meeting people, talking to people, eating, drinking, sleeping, any of this, he's only coming from that witness consciousness. And he does not accrue any karma, because what he's doing is not karma, is not an action. To perform action, I have to know I am a doer. When you look upon yourself as a doer, you perform rituals. And if you do not perform them, you will do something else. And this something else may incur sin. With reference to the performance of rituals, then, the Veda only addresses the person who takes himself or herself to be the doer. So the whole Karma Kanda part of the Veda addresses the doer. And who is the doer? The doer is the one who's still in the notion of the samsara, who does not have the Paramatma Tattva. So therefore the Vedas talk about rituals. Why does the Veda ask us to goad us to do this ritual and that ritual? Because if not that, you will be doing something else which might incur sin. So at least do this, so that you will not incur sin. You will at least doing something which is dharmic. You're doing something which is your nitya, the Vaidika karma. A brahmachari, a student, has to have the notion, I am a brahmachari, in order to perform the karma enjoined for brahmacharis by the Veda. If a brahmana is enjoined to do certain karma, then the person doing it must look upon himself or herself as a brahmana. The same thing applies to other varnas and ashramas. The Veda does not say that Satchidananda should perform karma. It says that a brahmana, a brahmachari, or a married person, a grahastha, should perform karmas. Karma then is enjoined only for the one who looks upon oneself as something or other, such as I am this, I am that, etc. It is not meant for the person who has jnana, in whom self-knowledge has taken place. Once this knowledge has dawned, it stays. Self-knowledge is not a dawning knowledge. It is a fully blazing midday sun. In the wake of this knowledge, worldly and scriptural karmas both go away, because all activity, vyavahara, is born out of the notion, I am the doer. Unless you consider yourself a doer, you cannot perform scriptural or worldly activities. Activity itself being a product of self-ignorance. But for the one who has self-knowledge, this ignorance is not there, and thus it is said that the vyavahara, all activity goes away. So self-knowledge is not a dawning knowledge. It is a fully blazing midday sun. In fact, I was listening to some knowledge by Gurudev some time ago. There he says there are 6 states of 6 facets of consciousness. One is Icha Shakti, Kriya Shakti, and Jnana Shakti. That is, and then beyond this is Shanta and the presence, Prakasha. There's one more, I'm forgetting that one part. So these are all the aspects of consciousness. Prakasha is the ultimate where you will only feel the presence, that's nothing else. I will listen to this again, or maybe I will share this in the group. So as to Icha Shakti is where the desire is there. And then Kriya Shakti is you want to convert, you work towards that desire. And the Jnana Shakti is you know that there is that knowledge, that aspect of I know. That is the Jnana Shakti. And there is another one called Shanta. Before Shanta, I think there is one more aspect that I'm not getting. Then Prakasha. So that Prakasha is something like this fully blazing midday sun.
Please repeat this paragraph, no?
Which one?
This Shanta and Prakasha.
Uh-huh. Shanta is that stillness that we experience when we meditate and all that. That's calmness that we experience. That is the Shanta. But beyond that is Prakasha.
Okay.
Is that Shraddha also in six?
Which one?
Shraddha? Shanta, Shraddha.
No, it was not Shraddha. Let me just check because um, let me just check. Yeah, so 6 expressive modes of consciousness are desire, knowledge, activity, quietness, understanding, and presence. So there is Icha Shakti, desire, Jnana Shakti, knowledge, Kriya Shakti, activity, quietness, Shanta, understanding. That understanding is what is that word he used about understanding? Okay, let me just share this one. Let's listen to this. 1 minute.
When that understanding becomes conviction, then I think that becomes Nishayatmika.
I think that Shraddha in that thing only. I feel like that.
If there is Shraddha, then only it becomes conviction. Without.
Mm.
Our consciousness expresses itself in 6 ways, in 6 modes. First is Icha Shakti, that's desire. So, many type of desires arise in the mind. When desires are fulfilled, another desires come. So one after another desires keep coming, and then we get caught up in the whole cycle. And small desires and big desire, doesn't matter. A desire is one of the mode, correct? And then knowledge. You want to know, you get to know about it. You know about this, you know about that, and you read books and you acquire knowledge. The second is knowing. You made a mistake, you came to know about the mistake afterwards. Or when an action is finished, then the knowledge of the action comes to you. This is so the power of knowing, knowledge, Gyan Shakti. Then the third mode is Kriya Shakti, activity. This is part of life, activities. There are activities happening all the time. Some or other activity you keep doing. And every action is part of the Kriya Shakti. Ability to act, ability to desire, ability to know, ability to act. And then the fourth is Shanta. Shanta means ability to become still and quiet. Everybody has this ability. We need to simply develop that. Like the fourth one. And then there is what is called Vimarsha. Vimarsha means understanding. It is not knowledge, but this is judging. Knowledge you get it, then you judge whether it is right or wrong, good or bad. The judging inside you, analysis and judgment, that is also power. And then the final one is Prakash, means presence, just light. So in Yagyas, all these 6 powers are finding its fulfillment. It's the Prakash, means presence. See, we don't understand what is happening, but the energy is high and then you are high. Correct? It is not something you think and you talk and no, you cannot even express it in words. Can you express? No. You cannot express in words, you cannot, it is beyond your logical understanding. You're sitting, you don't understand what the chanting is going on, what is all these things is happening, ceremonies are happening, but it has created a wonderful energy. You just feel the energy beyond your thinking or judging. That is called Prakash. Presence, experiencing the presence. And very little knowledge or very little awareness about this is there in the world.
So it was Icha Shakti, Jnana Shakti, Kriya Shakti, Shanta, Vimarsha, and Prakasha. So that Prakasha, the reason why I got that was Swamiji was talking about how this knowledge, self-knowledge, is like the fully blazing midday sun. In the wake of this knowledge, worldly and scriptural karmas both go away. Because all activity vyavahara is born out of the notion, I am the doer. Unless you consider yourself a doer, you cannot perform scriptural or worldly activities. Activity itself being a product of self-ignorance. This we saw in Atma Bodh, right? Karma is a byproduct of ignorance, of avidya. And therefore, no amount of karma can bring you knowledge. Karma can only purify you, but it cannot bring you self-knowledge. So it is only through jnana that you can, final sword of jnana has to be there to remove this self-ignorance. But for the one who has self-knowledge, this ignorance is not there, and thus it is said that the vyavahara, all activities, goes away. Knowledge removes the notion of doership. Does knowledge remove the product of ignorance, or does it remove the ignorance itself? Shankara deals with this question in his commentary on this verse. When knowledge takes place, the ignorance is removed. This knowledge, which is of the nature of a discriminative understanding between the real and the unreal, Atma Anatma Viveka Jnana, is opposed to ignorance. Thus, when self-knowledge takes place, self-ignorance goes away. And when ignorance goes away, its broods, its products also go away. To take the classic example of the seeing of the rope as a snake, ignorance of the rope produces a snake. When the rope ignorance goes away, the snake also goes away. And when we may ask, does the rope ignorance go? When the rope is seen, then it is known. Rope ignorance will go only in the wake of rope knowledge. Therefore, rope knowledge is the opposite of rope ignorance. When rope ignorance goes, anything that was there due to that ignorance will also go, because when the cause of a problem is removed, the symptoms also disappear. Similarly, for the person who has knowledge, all activity is gone. Such a person becomes a sarva karma sannyasi, one who renounces all karma. The Veda sets out the karmas that have to be done, and Shankara clarifies as to who has to do them. The person who has such notions as I am a brahmachari, I am a brahmana, I am a married person, I am bound by time, spring, new moon, full moon, morning, evening. The one who has these kinds of notions about himself or herself, the one who thinks that he or she is time bound, place bound, and group bound, is the person whom the Shruti, the Veda, addresses with reference to the performance of rituals. If the person knows, I am Satchitananda, the Shruti does not address him or her at all. In fact, it says that you are Satchit Ananda, but it reserves this particular statement for the last chapter, which is what we call Vedanta. Until then, the Veda talks exclusively about rituals and meditation, all of which are Dvaita, dual. Only at the end of all this does it say, you are that Brahman, Tattvamasi. I think we'll stop here. Next is, why should I perform karma? So knowledge removes the notion of doership. The moment we have knowledge of the rope, the snake ignorance goes away, right? Or in other words, the ignorance of the rope goes away. the rope knowledge comes. So all that was there before, that rattling of the snake, the fear that the snake might bite you, all that disappears in one go. So anything that was there due to the ignorance, and since all karma is because of ignorance, once there is self-knowledge, the person becomes a sarva karma sannyasi. And the sarva karma sannyasi is not just giving up activity, giving up doing. It is giving up in the wake of knowledge. Jnanena sarva karma sannyasi. He renounces karma. So he might still be doing karma. He might be eating, sleeping, sitting, talking. All that is karma. But he is coming from the space of non-doership. So anyone wants to share anything, please go ahead.
Or maybe Ishwar Pranidhan means surrendering to the Brahmarpanastu, like that. The
Surrender
doership.
always requires two. No, you're in Dvaita again.
Okay.
Isn't it? Ishvara Pranidhana is surrendering. To whom will you surrender? That means there are two. That is why Karma Yoga, if being a Karma Yogi, you are still in Dvaita. You recognize Ishvara and you're offering everything to Ishvara. That is why, coming back to where Krishna was telling Arjuna, only the wise will understand the wise. We are still not wise, and we are trying to conjecture what the wise state is, the wisdom state is. We just get a glimpse, we have a concept. But to actually be that, we have to be wise.
is accept.
So we'll stop here. Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat Shri Krishna Arpanamastu.
Meditation is accepting this moment, living every moment totally with depth. Let us keep our spine erect and body relaxed and eyes closed. Relax your shoulders. Keep a big smile on your face. You're sitting like the statue of Buddha, very serene and with a serene smile on your face. Relax your body. Let's take a deep breath in and breathe out. Become aware of your chest region, throat and chest region. If you notice some tension in the body, just let it be. Except those part of the body where you feel a tension, the other parts are in comfort. Other parts are at peace. Become aware of that also. There are many good things about you and inside of you. Acknowledge them. They will never leave you. And the negative aspect you may see in you is never going to stay with you forever. They are all guests for some time. Let them be. Sit with the total acceptance of yourself the way you are at this very moment. Total acceptance of what is now here. Lead us to deeper meditation. Let go of all the efforts. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let go of all your effort and be in this emptiness. And slowly and gradually become aware of body and surroundings. And you may gently open your eyes.